Unfortunately, I feel it's a disservice that kids are going through in certain educational environments where the only focus is for them to improve their grades, which is subjective anyways, because as a classroom teacher, I could sit there and give you all A's just for putting your name on a paper. That doesn't mean you're learning anything. How do I know that you're learning and growing? Is because I'm seeing you overcome the challenge in the process of learning and growing.
In a world where test scores dominate the headlines and classroom outcomes are often measured in letters and numbers, one man is redefining what success looks like, starting with how children feel and not just how they perform. Johnathane Gaffney Sr, known to many simply as Coach Gaffney, is the founder of iCoach Mental Health, a Fort Worth-based organization bringing mental wellness support into schools and homes. But his journey into youth advocacy didn't begin with titles or institutions. It began with loss, reflection, and a call to serve.
In 2015, I'm a assistant principal, of a school, an administrator, and I am in what I feel like the matrix. It is probably one of the hardest years of my life because I am being bombarded with examples of my own childhood trauma and didn't know it at the time. Before then, I had never talked about some of the things I had been through, never really expressed what I had been through as a child. And so that year forced me to kind of look at myself in the mirror and say, man, what's wrong? Why am I reacting these ways emotionally to what's happening around me? That forced me into looking into counseling for the first time in my life. Went into a therapy session, and the therapist said, have you ever, she tossed a ball of rubber bands to me. She said, have you ever talked about unraveling some of the things in your childhood? And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? And that set me on a journey to help me start to heal for some of the things that I had been through.
Confronting the unresolved challenges of his own upbringing led him to recognize the critical role emotional wellness plays in a child's development. That understanding now fuels his partnership with schools like Deer Creek Elementary.
Come on out, friends, come on out, hurry!
Where he supports efforts to strengthen social-emotional learning and create environments where students and families can thrive together.
Coach Gaffney and I have a history from campuses I've led before. So we connected because he does great work influencing our parents to get involved in the school and connect with their students.
30 seconds! So the important part about today was that we brought together father figures to help support their students in their academic learning. So we situate organizations and opportunities for parents to be involved in their child's education. And one of the ways that we do that is through what I call purposeful play. Oh, you gotta toss it to them! And so what we do is we use purposeful play to connect to things like emotional intelligence, and then they have those different opportunities to learn those things and then take that home and then hopefully implement them and then also reiterate the things that help their students be successful at school. Go!
Coach Gaffney centers his training methods on 3 core principles: kinesiology, multiple intelligences, and depth and complexity, blending movement, cognitive diversity, and critical thinking to support whole child development.
Yeah, oh, get it! You gotta get it, friend! And in order for you to learn anything, you first have to be emotionally invested in it. If you don't care, then you're not gonna care to put the effort to learning. So in order to pull emotional investment, one of the ways that we do that, again, is through purposeful play. The other thing that play does, when you're having fun, it's hard to be angry.
I think it was a very, very enlightening experience, especially for the dads. You know, a lot of times people they don't see dads involved. And so this exercise was very engaging, very enlightening. It helps us get a little closer with our babies.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Just getting us engaged. My daughter, she is an FA, so it's like, you know, she can understand, but she can't really articulate everything that she wants to. But it gives our opportunity to kind of talk about some things maybe that we sometimes may not get to the meat of it at home. You know, it may be our different brand of discussing an obstacle or something like that.
And for generations, overcoming obstacles has been a defining strength in the Black community. But when it comes to mental health, silence has too often been the response to struggle.
We was always told to suck it up, man, don't cry, you know, and I think just growing up without my dad being at home, and I was a family of 8. This means a lot to me. My daughter, she's 8, and I have older kids. And so one of my biggest things is to be there for my kids, contrary to what I kind of grew up with, you know what I'm saying? So this means a lot to me. So though I work 50, 60 hours, like when it comes to something like this means so much to me, and this is very valuable to me.
Yeah, growing up, man, they would refer to mental health as being a part of another community, which is a very ignorant thing to say. And as of, now I think it's very important that we become aware and educated on what mental health truly entails. And that's been just socially aware, emotionally mature, emotionally intelligent, and just kind of understanding how you feel and how certain things, bring out these certain emotions in you.
You get out of life not what you want, but who you become. And so that has been something that drives me in the becoming part, and what part do I play in helping people become, helping them recognize the becoming. To your point, as a parent, I'm going to give who I am. And if who I am operates out of trauma, operates out of brokenness, operates out of a deficit mindset, operates out of this perspective that I can't win, then I'm going to pass that same perspective to my children. And so whoever I am, when I show up into spaces, that's how I'm going to influence the space. So you asked what was the importance of having parents here. Well, parents, as I've said before, are students' most influential teacher. They get teachers at school different every year. If they move schools, they go from middle school to high school, elementary to middle to high, so they're gonna get a different face every year. The consistent person in their lives should be their parent. Humans need 2 things. And when we're talking about the ideal of growth and becoming, in order to feel planted, we need safety and connection. That's from birth. That is science, and all of that says that. So if a parent is not feeling safe or connected, then the student is not going to feel safe and connected.
Growth begins where connection is strong and positivity is present. And in that space, people don't just learn, they heal, they hope, and they become.
I think that hurt people, right? So healed people can also help others heal by showing them a pathway to healing. And so some of the things and projections that we use as humans, we can also project energy to one another. We can also exchange with one another. And in doing so, I hope that some of that exchange leads to healing.
And in helping others heal, we find the true measure of success, not in numbers or titles, but in the quiet impact of presence. Because when one life is changed, an entire generation can follow.
My measure of success is through impact, and that impact varies. It could be a matter of a kid saying, "Hey coach, what you just did helped save my life." And I've had kids say that. That to me is impactful. That tells me that my life is worth something because it was able to bless or help another person see that their life was valuable. And so that's how I see impact and success. Numbers can be skewed. Any other type of measurement for success that's quantitative can always be manipulated. For me, it's the quality of relationship and human interaction that says that what I said, how I interacted, engaged with a person, really helped influence their life in a different direction. And so it's hard for me to say, if I get to this point in this number, then I'm successful, because you can be there, and what profited a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul. And so that to me isn't success. What success is the interaction between humans, to be able to say, we were able to interact with one another, and now since you interacted with me, then you feel different, see different, maybe move different because of that interaction.